Alex thought he was free. The endless loop of that day, the crash, the diner, it was finally over. He could wake up without the dread. The fear was gone, or so he told himself. He tried to settle back into his life, back to work, back to his routines. But the highway haunted his dreams. The road was a constant whisper in his mind. He saw the worried looks from his friends. They had no idea what he went through. How could they? Alex couldn't shake the feeling. Something was still wrong. It clung to him like exhaust fumes. He couldn't drive on a highway. Every on-ramp was a terror. Every mile marker a chilling reminder. Freedom had a bitter aftertaste. Word spread like wildfire. Stories about the highway, the loops, the disappearances. People came from everywhere, some to experience it, others to exploit it. A young couple, giddy and naive, sought a thrill. They wanted to be trapped in their perfect day. They got their wish. Then the crashes started, over and over again. Their laughter turned to screams. A businessman, arrogant and impatient, dared the highway to challenge him. He wanted to break free, bend it to his will. He disappeared on his third loop, never to be seen again. Alex saw their stories on the news. He felt a chill. A terrifying thought gripped him. What if escaping wasn't the end? What if it was just the beginning? The highway stretched back decades, a ribbon of asphalt and concrete, soaked in darkness. Alex started digging. He scoured old newspapers, dusty microfilms. The library became his sanctuary. He found stories, so many stories. People vanished. Accidents remained unexplained. Whispers of a cursed road, a place where time itself got lost. A chilling pattern emerged. Missing persons reports, crashes always at the same few spots, vague descriptions of a phantom hitchhiker. The details sent shivers down Alex's spine. This wasn't just a road, it was a predator, and it had been feeding for a very long time. One name appeared again and again in Alex's research. Dr. Evelyn Stein, a scientist who had studied the highway. She wrote about temporal anomalies, about energy fields, about a presence. Alex found her, or what was left of her, living as a recluse, haunted by her own experiences. She told him about the entity, a being of pure energy feeding off the highway's power. It needed the loops to exist, to trap people in their worst moments, to feed off their despair. And she warned him. It was drawn to those who escaped. It wanted them back. Alex left, his blood turning to ice. He checked his rearview mirror. For a moment, he could have sworn he saw it. A fleeting shadow, a whisper of darkness, right behind him. Sarah was a journalist. She lived for the stories nobody else would touch. The strange, the unexplained, the forgotten. The highway was her kind of story. She found me through a classified ad I had placed, a desperate attempt to find answers. The ad mentioned the loop, the highway, and the date of the crash. She knew it was real. She had the clippings to prove it. We met in a dingy diner on the edge of town. I was wary and, well, haunted. Sarah was sharp and relentless. We were an unlikely pair, but we had a common enemy, and a mystery that ran deeper than we could possibly imagine. They started digging together, following the leads, the old reports, the eyewitness accounts. Each clue was just a piece of a terrifying puzzle. They visited the crash sites, talked to witnesses who were still alive. But man, each conversation was a dead end, or worse, a threat. People were afraid to talk about the highway like the fear itself was contagious. And then, they realized they were being followed. Men in dark cars, their faces hidden. Phone calls in the middle of the night, just clicking on the other end of the line. Their investigation was definitely stirring something up. Something dark and powerful. And, it was closing in. The deeper they dug, the stranger things became. Time itself seemed to, warp around the highway. Clocks would just stop. Days felt longer, then shorter. They found spots where their cell phones went dead, their compasses spun wildly. Sarah found an account from a survivor, a trucker who claimed he had been pulled into another dimension. A place where time moved differently, where the entity ruled. He was the only one who had ever escaped. The highway wasn't just a road, it was a scar, a wound in reality, and the entity was the infection, leaking out into their world. I knew I couldn't hide. The entity wanted me back. Hell, it wanted all of us. I had to confront it, on its own turf. So I drove towards the highway, Sarah by my side. Our last hope was to lure it out, to end its reign of terror. The road seemed to beckon me, pulling me closer. Then I saw it, standing right there in the middle of the road, its form shifting, flickering. a grotesque reflection of myself. My doppelganger, the entity's true form. The air crackled with energy. The entity lunged, a whirlwind of darkness and rage. I swerved, the car spun, tires just screaming. I slammed on the brakes, throwing the car into a skid. I looked back, the entity was gone, but the highway stretched on, endless, menacing. Had I escaped, or was this just another trick? I looked at Sarah, her face was pale, but she was alive, for now. We drove on, away from the highway, away from the loop, but the fear remained, a constant companion. I knew deep down some roads never let you go.